Yo, what's up, Atlanta? Welcome to the Streets of Atlanta, the segment of ATL Vibes where we keep it all the way real about what's happening in the city. I'm your host, Christian Benoit. Today we have a lot to unpack, from OutKAST making history to Jagged Edge. They're hitting their 25-year marks in the game. We're celebrating some ATL legends, but we're also going to ask some real questions. What's up with the NFL players? We're going to talk about why we have city officials and police officers getting arrested and banned from city buildings. Man, the city is so hot right now, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into it. How's it, people? All right, so first up, we got OutKAST. Let's give it up for the legends. Man, Andre 3000 and Big Boy, they are officially being inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And there's no doubt that they don't deserve it. They have definitely put Atlanta on the map as far as the culture, and they shifted the culture as well. Now, the real question is, Andre 3000 gonna be there? Like, we all know that Dre has been on his flute vibes. He just been chilling, living his best life. But is he gonna pop out and celebrate this moment? Do y'all think he might hit it with us and, give us a speech? Maybe even do a little performance with his little flute. What y'all think? Let me know in the comments what y'all think Andre 3000 gonna do while they are at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Another shout out to Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige is phenomenal. Mary J. Blige has also been inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's also on tour right now, so make sure y'all go and check her out. She was in Atlanta recently, and from all the pictures and everything on Instagram, it was a hit. All right, and speaking of legends, let's talk about Jagged Edge. 25 years in the game, and they still one of the greatest R&B groups ever. Don't forget, Jagged Edge brought us hits like Let's Get Married, Promise, Where the Party At. Man, it's a lot of classics that Jagged Edge has brought. Like, a lot of classics. Now, word is that they have a 25-year, they're planning a tour 25 years later. Now, Atlanta, y'all better show up for them, so let's make sure y'all go on Ticketmaster and get those tickets. But let's be real. R&B it's not the same anymore. Like, it's not the same love. It's not really the same energy into it. Are we supporting our legends like we should be, or are we letting a new wave of music take over and push them to the side? Y'all let me know, because I love my old school. I don't know, I'm stuck in the 90s, though. Now, we're going to shift the gears a little bit to a little bit of Atlanta drama with the king and queen, Tip and Tiny. we all know that they've been fighting battles in and out of court. So the real question is, do we separate the artist from the controversy? Because let's be real, T.I. is one of the biggest names in hip hop. He's a major business mogul. He's an advocate for the city. Last month, a federal judge tried to reduce their $71 million payout, $71 million to $17 million. That's right. A U.S. District Court judge, James Selma, issued a tentative order to question the $53.6 million in punitive damages that's owed to T.I. and Tiny. The judge tried to say that there wasn't enough evidence of bad faith from MGA to justify the large amount of money, but guess what? You can't block what God has for you. I'm telling you. That was denied, and salute to T.I. and Tiny on being awarded the full judgment. Intellectual property is a real thing, y'all. Like, you definitely better know the law and get to understand it. Shout out to them. They're also doing big things in the city, building apartment complexes and a lot of other things, so they definitely deserve it and worked hard for it. Now, we're going to shift our focus to something serious in the sports world right now. Yeah, the halftime show was amazing. The Super Bowl, all of that was good, but we're going to talk about former NFL wide receiver Kadarius Toney Yeah, I guess where he was arrested at. In Douglasville. In these Atlanta streets on February the 6th. Now he's facing charges of aggravated assault, obstructing an emergency call. Now, according to reports, Tony allegedly strangled a woman in his home on January the 14th. It was his girlfriend. Apparently, he got mad. There was some visible injuries according to the reports. So, I mean, we can't speculate what really happened, but it was said that he strangled a woman, prevented her from calling 911 by taking her phone. He was released on a $50,000 bond the same day that he was arrested. Now, he was drafted to the Giants. Just a little bit about him. He was drafted to the Giants in 21. He had some stints with Kansas City Chiefs, where he contributed to 2 Super Bowl victories, and the Cleveland Browns, who released him in December of last year. So he just got released. Now, his career has been going up and down with injuries and off-field issues and apparently some other issues. Now, this incident actually brings concerns about the conduct of professional athletes, y'all. Like their impact on and off the field. Sometimes public figures don't really realize the impact that they have, and that they're also still humans in a sense, and they are ATLians, and we gotta be mindful of these things because there's a bigger radar on them. Now, it also, because they've been successful, it still don't put them above the law a little bit. So sometimes, you gotta remain humble and do what you do. And always, we're gonna keep y'all updated as details emerge on this. Now, all right, y'all ready for the topic of the night? Can y'all hear me? Turn your TV up a little bit more. We're gonna get into some real tea. What's going on with Atlanta law enforcement officers as well as the city officials? What is really going on? We have police officers getting arrested. The mayor of South Fulton, his power is being restricted by the city council. Just yesterday, this man couldn't get in nothing related to work. They blocked his access to everything. He's been barred from city buildings, went to work to show up, and no, you can't get access. Access denied. Now, when you start seeing city officials and law enforcement officers getting arrested, you got to ask the question, what's really happening behind the scenes? Is it about this corruption, mismanagement, power struggles? Because from where I'm sitting, to be honest, it looks like a leadership crisis. Like there's no real leadership explaining, checking for understanding, making sure that these city officials as well as law enforcement officers have a full understanding, and also making sure that we're holding them accountable too. Now, when leadership don't properly communicate and explain their plans, things do tend to fall apart, and that's what we're seeing right now in Atlanta. New policies are being pushed, decisions are being made behind closed doors, and the people, the very ones that put these people in office, we are left confused and frustrated. But the real question is this whole incident a misunderstanding, or are we looking at something deeper? Are the arrests and the restrictions that's being made, are they being done for the good of the city, or is this a sign of political revenge, hidden agendas, and personal beliefs? Because, one of the biggest stories, and it's messy, but it's happening right now in South Fulton with Khalil being restricted. Now, they said he spent $26,000 without the city approval. Now, this was over a span of a couple of years. So, member of the council, Helen Willis, y'all already know, she told Fox 5 Atlanta that Mayor Khalid even used the card to fund trips overseas, including a trip to Africa. The mayor called these trips international trade missions. Willis says that that contradicts the city's economic development plan. That plan does not have anything in it that recommends we should be pursuing international trade and commerce at this time, Willis said. But I don't think she really fully understood his message. I listened to his interview. You guys can go and check it out on the Big Tigger Morning Show, the full interview. But he was basically saying what he was trying to bring to South Fulton as far as jobs, doing commerce trade instead of just warehouses and factories. So he want to actually increase and expand the Black American dollar in the community. Like, he's really trying to do things to grow it, but we're saying that he misspent money. Now it goes back to the leadership thing. Did his leaders really set him up for success by explaining to him, hey, this is this, or were they just go do this, and now they don't like how he spent the money, or they don't like what he did? He explained on his trip to Africa, he spent $7,000 on his trip to Africa for 21 days, $7,000. He said other council members go on 4-day trips to Miami and spend $4,000. So where's the disconnect here? I mean, is it because he went to Africa? Is it really because he's trying to do other things to improve and expand the Black community and kind of add some wealth to it? But I mean, was he right or wrong? Is this a necessary move to remove bad leadership, or is this about keeping the power in the hands of a few? Now, we're going to get in, I mean, we're not going to ignore the racial and economic impact here. He's been very vocal about strengthening the Black businesses as well as the Black dollar in South Fulton. Now, whenever we see a Black leader trying to make major changes, suddenly they get blocked, investigated, arrested, anything to stop them. But hey, if we listen to his message, are we taking the time to really understand what he's trying to do in the Black community in South Fulton? Or are we letting the headlines fool us? And also, you know, his peers, are we trying to get rid of him because he's doing the same thing that you're doing, but just doing it a little bit different? I mean, y'all let us know. Tell us how y'all feel about it. Now, I don't know. Law enforcement in Atlanta seems like they are above the law. Forget the football player, Kadarius. Yeah, he's an NFL player. I mean, that's kind of expected, but not expected. Now, we talk about cops going to jail. It's either one or two things happening. They finally get caught doing something dirty on a job, or somebody higher up wanted them gone. But Atlanta has definitely had its fair share of corrupt cops. The city has definitely been dealing with some issues with police misconduct, abuse of power, straight up crime happening in the department. But at the same time, we also got some good officers. Shout out to y'all that show up to do your job, and you don't get caught up in the politics and literally take care of the people. Now, a Forest Park police officer, he's been arrested, guess where, y'all? Sandy Springs. Now, you know not to come to Cobb County playing. But anyway, he's been arrested by Sandy Springs police on charges of him harassing an ex-girlfriend. The Sandy Springs Police Department received a call on January the 28th from a woman who said her boyfriend was harassing her. Of course, y'all know that they're going to investigate it, and it revealed that James Cameron Kia of Roswell allegedly harassed the victim on several occasions. Officers arrested him on February the 7th. He's been charged with counts of computer invasion of privacy, 3 counts of computer trespassing, 2 counts of identity fraud, 1 count of forgery, and 1 count of possession of cocaine, all felonies. 1 count of stalking, which is a misdemeanor. That should be a felony. Key is being held, guess where? In the Fulton County Jail. Now, the question is, are these arrests a part of a much needed cleanup, or is this just political maneuvering? I mean, we're going to keep it 100. When we start seeing police officers, politicians, city officials getting arrested and removed, that means that it's a war going on behind the scenes that we don't really know about. And the bigger concern is, how does this affect the people of Atlanta? Are we getting safer streets out of this? Are we seeing more funding for Black businesses, or is this just drama that's in high places where regular folks continue to struggle and we're blind to what they got going on? And speaking of the struggle, let's talk about the real impact of all this political drama, and something that Khalil was also speaking on and talking of in the Black community. When they start thriving, people start suddenly losing property. Now, businesses have been around for years and then shut down over technicalities. Homeowners get hit with unfair code violations. Rent prices go through the roof. I mean, gentrification sneaks in. Suddenly, the block does not look the same anymore. It's happening right now in Atlanta, and that's what Mayor Kobe, that's what his other name is also, Mayor Kobe. That's what he's talking about. And on his platform, KobeCares.com, there's important resources that can actually help us protect our own. Also, being educated on our rights, financial literacy, and on how to fight back against these property takeovers and growth in the black community. Because let's be real, if we don't do anything, we don't control anything, and that's if we don't own anything, we don't control anything, and that's exactly what some of these people in power want. Now, we're gonna sum it up. Atlanta's law enforcement and the city officials, they're facing major legal issues. The mayor of South Fulton is losing his power, but his message about the black dollar and economic empowerment is getting ignored. So, yeah. Do y'all think this is a necessary cleanup? And tell us in the comments, like drop in your comments. Let's talk about it, because one thing is for sure, the bigger picture is way bigger than a few arrests. It's about the future of Atlanta. Now, we're going to talk about some events that's going on in Atlanta. If you're looking for where to be in the city, we're going to put you on real quick. Atlanta stays active, and y'all know we like to be outside, so make sure y'all follow us too, ATL Vibes. And we got some big events happening. There was a ACTV watch party. We're going to go a little bit deeper into detail soon. There's every Wednesday, Sweet Karaoke Lounge. Go to the Sweet Lounge. There's crab legs and karaoke every Wednesday. It's hosted by the beautiful Lola Sparks. Shout out Lola. She's my host as well for other things. And it's definitely a vibe and a move, you guys. The city stay lit, so make sure you guys stay in the loop. And before we wrap it up, since it's Black History Month, we're going to leave with some real talk. The simple lessons. Kendrick Lamar, don't let people play in your face. Beyonce, create what you want and stand on it. Doechii, once you stop playing about you, your life definitely changes. Chris Brown, if your talent is undeniable, you've been canceled. You've been canceled. The people that canceled you, they gonna watch you win. So here's a real question I'm gonna leave with y'all before we go. Who was the first black millionaire and what made them successful? Drop it in the comments and let's talk about it. Again, who was the first black millionaire and what made them successful? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. And that is it for this episode of Streets of Atlanta. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be back next week with more unfiltered convos. Until then, tap in, stay woke, live life, love life, and we're going to pass that thing back to ATL Vibes. Y'all make some noise and follow us, baby.